I guess in reality, um, they could either, I'm thinking about the functionality of it. Um, it either has like a battery that's like a pacemaker, where they're 3 years to 5 years. Um, if it doesn't, then I don't see how you couldn't sort of make it drain. Um, I mean, ultimately, their choice is to not. If they're so, I don't know how you would convince somebody to do that, and I guess it becomes a moral issue. Um, you know, it's very. If it doesn't drain, like you almost in a sense of like an iPhone getting an update, an old iPhone, that thing will drain. You know it will. So I don't see why you wouldn't want it to drain. If you see that it's causing me pain and mental fucking chaos and suffering, and you know that these things that I say I do not mean, then I do not know why you would not let it drain. And I know I don't mean them, and I guess anybody can insert here whatever that would be. But I'm talking about the disdain and the horribleness with the disdain and saying things for cracking the whip and assertion and sort of thing like this with the mind and leaving something and then be like, well, you know what, and this sort of false the last word power trip of it, which I've gone into, which can be different things with the primarily it's due to the situation and the lack of I guess autonomy that I have, or this dynamic. So I don't know. So it's either this like battery that's like 3 years that like I said, like a pacemaker that like lasts so long, but then I figure if it's doing all these things where I'm getting jolted and words are being created, I don't know, I probably get jolted maybe 20 times a day, maybe. I'm getting one right now when I'm talking about it, so on the right, which is correct, the left is wrong or incorrect. So, and then I figure if I'm doing all these, like, the right arm jolt, I'm doing all these calculations, and I guess if it will be, or If there's sort of this like, there seems to be more power going on than a pacemaker, I would think. And that fucking thing is a 3-year battery. So, and if this is I don't know how that works then. If this is syncing up then to somewhere or something, then I would assume that it would be using power and more power than a pacemaker, I guess. In the way that it is, right? So I'm assuming that it consumes more power than a pacemaker. So then I would assume that the battery itself maybe wouldn't last 3 years. Or maybe it's some self-created, like, 8-year battery or something. I don't know. Which in that case, then I guess they can't turn it off. But then they could stop communications. They could stop the signals. I'm assuming if I'm outputting something, then they could cease that. So I think they're making a moral choice not to at this point, which I find interesting. And so then if it isn't this sort of battery, then I would hope that they could drain the shit out of it and run the risk of brain damage, all for the hope to cease the experiment, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know if maybe I don't know what you'd call it. And I could just go on being a normal human being, running the risk of being assassinated or killed or in a car wreck or just like anybody, and not have to hear somebody's voice in my head or get jolted. I think that'd be a fine life. So if this is possible, I would hope that you would be able to drain it and would drain it, or try to drain it, and that you would, or there is another argument that they could be using it to, like, get ahead in the game or something, which I think is a shitty argument, because unless China has fucking people that have implants, then have a section where this could happen somewhere else. It doesn't have to be a citizen. So yeah, I hope AI and ASI and AGI doesn't happen until like 2040 or something, because I feel like there's a lot of like social issues, and I do really like what I said about the pool, about having a pool, like a separate account, if you will, or like a I don't know how you'd call it, like a where people can throw in money, and then whatever the project may be, whether it be funding, say Mississippi needs funding for their school, or some you just these things, and then minus deduction, this, like crowdfunding for the country instead of this sort of like, I don't know. I think that'd be amazing. I don't know how you would make that work, but I feel like you could make it work. You'd have to watch the fucking pool. It'd probably be, I don't know how you would. I don't know. I don't know how you would. I don't know how you would end up making sure that nobody like steals money from it. I guess it would be on, you would like make it on the blockchain, I guess. I don't know. I'd be like, of course every dollar, maybe some dollars go missing here and there or unaccounted for, but fucking $20, $10, whatever, so. But at least some sort of like direction, and some sort of effort, or at least visible effort that you can see towards a sort of like these like federal, like I guess that's what ends up happening with like bills, but I guess it's just sort of circumventing the whole like slow process of getting a bill passed. But then again, I guess you would vote on like what, or maybe you wouldn't vote on what would be, or maybe, I don't know how that would happen, I guess you have this pool, and then I don't know, you'd have to make some sort of like you'd just make a voting system, I guess. You'd have some voting system where you'd input your ID, or you'd verify that you were a human and verify that you were a citizen, and you would then be able to vote. I don't know. I mean, it's like the technology is literally there, so why not? So I thought that would be kind of interesting. Treasury kind of kicks ass. I saw that they're really working. Alright. Trying to think if there was anything else. Oh, I did say that if there was any celebrities or something talking through it, I said I wouldn't allow that, or I was like, fuck that, because they basically have like power as it is, and they have like influence as it is, and the fact that they could sort of like use their power and their influence to tell me something as if to believe it, because they are this like basically see themselves as this thing, is faulty. So if anybody was going to speak in it, it would I feel like it would have to be a non-celebrity or something, because it's a realm of like no celebrities allowed, because you already have an inflated ego as it is. So telling me something with your inflated ego is just fueling your ego, basically. Or at least that's how I see it. You're just basically, I can't remember the way I described it, but it was like, it was like basically, like they have, because they are at this level, they have no say in it. They're I don't think that's how it was either. It's like their ego. It's a the my if you're going to talk in my brain, it's an egoless. It's a egoless space. Now, if you're going to talk to me face to face, then I don't give a fuck who you are. But if you're going to talk in my mind, I'm going to hope that it's going to be an egoless sort of space where, like, big celebrity walks in and I'm going to get him the this and this and this and this. It's like you already have the false ego anyways. You already have this, like, massive thing, and when you're doing it for this purpose, in my opinion, you're just fueling that. So I feel like that's like a fair, like, assumption there. So, all right.